Good evening, and welcome to, what's the show called? Everybody wants to listen to my podcast. That's about as serious as I'm going to get. Hi. Hey, how was everybody's weekend? Mine was interesting. I hope yours was interesting too. I hope everybody's doing well in general. Mother's Day is coming up, I think, here in North America. We need a day to be told to like our moms. And, eventually Father's Day comes up after that sometime, at some point, I think. Or maybe it already did. I don't know. But, we started seeing all the Mother's Day stuff kicking up around everywhere. Taking down the Easters and putting up the next holiday stuff. And, silliness. Just silliness. Okay. So, let's see, where are we at? I've got the pages from this weekend here. I got those together. Now, the page that I posted for today, and technically yesterday, right? It's because it's a 2-page piece. And so this was a suggestion from Jim Luan. And, somebody's here. Hello. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Welcome aboard. So this is a suggestion from Jim Lujan. If you haven't seen the Artcasters program, it's posted over 3 different guys' YouTube pages: Joshua Kemble, Corey Kerr, and Scott Cirkland. And so it's a channel where the 3 of them engage with a guest and talk about art. Not just comic books, not just anything specific, but art in general. And the last person that they had on did murals, or does murals. And it's interesting, the different is that a Styx quote? So the guests that they have are pretty interesting and pretty compelling, and it's really a nice way to see them engage with others. But Jim's suggestion was to take the 3 positive personalities and do alternate versions of them, alternate meaning, potentially opposite. And so, because Scott is very vivacious and very lots of bright colors around him and very, very full of life, I made him a melancholic goth, and even gave him a goofy goth name like Seraphiel. And he calls his art lab, and his studio was set up as a laboratory, but he calls it the underground lair. But it's like, hey, welcome from the underground lair. Like, it's so positive. So in this context, the reversal of that would be, and I'm in my dungeon, Just, there was a bit that Kids in the Hall did years ago called The Pit of Eternal Darkness. And it's these 2 ridiculous comedians, Kevin McDonald, who has a high squeaky voice, and then Dave Foley would be his, who goes on to news radio and so on and so forth, is dressed up in the black hair, and he's Succubus the demon. So it's 2, college white suburban kids pretending to be gothy and alternative. So that's the sort of vibe I went for with the interpretation of Scott as a goth. But I still tried to follow the narrative of how they structure the show. Instead of being called Artcasters, I called them Creation Flickers. It's the same thing. Oh, what do we got? Oh, we got typos happening already. Hi, everybody. Welcome aboard, Dee Dee. Welcome aboard, Jim. Welcome aboard, Rachel. Dave Foley is the ace of spades in Revengeance. Really? That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. They're all the kids in the hall are brilliantly funny guys. Did you really get Dave Foley to do voice work? That's pretty cool. I sent something. I did a comic page that's in the first volume of One Page Comic Extravaganza, where basically the suggestion was the most out superhero that you could think of And so I had a character based on Scott Thompson's Buddy performance from Kids in the Hall. But his only superpower is that he can tell if you're lying or not. So he shows up and everything that comes out of him is innuendos. So it's why don't I keep a copy of that book right beside me? Hold on a second. Why am I not organized? Oh, I don't know, Chris. Why not? Let's see if I can find it. This one. He's called Captain Sincerity. Let me put it under the camera. Let me put it under the gun. Tangent. Captain Sincerity. So the big tough superhero guys are, you will duck. Captain Sincerity's on the way. Where's the bomb? I don't know where it is. That's a lie. And then he shows up, and of course he's smaller than everybody else, and this guy's about to give up his goods. Just don't. Anyways, somehow I got to Scott, and Scott liked it. So happy days. I really respect those guys. They're brilliant and funny. Yeah, Kids in the Hall was a great production. It truly was. Wow, that's fantastic, Jim. That's absolutely fantastic about Dave Foley being the Ace of Spades and Revengeance. That's fantastic. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of you. That's pretty cool. That's in Canada. That's huge. Huge, man. And frankly, that's huge. Frankly's in the external state of Canada. Anyway, so the okay, we're back. Okay, hopefully that everybody didn't disappear, but yeah, I don't know. My whole internet just shut down there, and it kicked me out. It just kicked me out of my own spot. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, gang. Uh-oh. Anonymous. AA. Okay, so we're back. Okay, well, hey, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for sticking around. Christopher's live stream is way better than Kids in the Hall? Nope. There's no chance of that. No way. There are certain things that those guys did that no one runs a mid-return. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Back to where I was. Okay, so creation flickers. I tried to do the alternate personality for the guy. So Corey, who is always arting, and he's always trying to engage with others in art, and he's trying to make his work available for everybody else, and things like that. That's he's really trying to be proactive and saying, here I am, and I'm engaging in the larger world, in the larger community, and promoting my art. And then, of course, the alternate version of him is people that create things end up selling out. Like it's this negative assertion of it. So I like helping others learn to game AI algorithms. Like that's none of this stuff is true. So yeah, alternate Corey. And he's wearing the suit. He's got the slick back hair, and the sign in the back behind him says "Obey." You know. And then Josh Kemble, who is a very open-minded, open-hearted guy. I have him talk. I have him as a militaristic guy, and you know, he's got a MAGA shirt on, and instead of Jacob's apartment, it's called My Bunker. It's dumb. So anyway, so I needed a second page because I was having too much fun. So the second page, and this also incorporates Bela Lugosi in it. I'm still going to do a Bela Lugosi rock and roll page at some point, but I just thought I'd throw Bela Lugosi in as their guest, and it's just the dumbest joke for the Bela Lugosi. Yes, 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 right? So, and then of course there's a joke in there about Scott Serkland where in one episode he was dressed as for an Artcasters episode he dressed as Vincent Price. So in this I have the goth version. I would say I channeled Vincent Price before. Do you know him? That's fun, especially with Josh laughing at the end about Scott's a goth. Yeah, so this was fun. Friday's page was so that's Sunday, or I'm sorry, Sunday and Monday. Friday's page was the existential spy story, and I was having a lot of fun with this, with textures and really playing with it. It's just a straight on black and white line drawing, and all of the visual elements just playing with textures. So and then Saturday's page is some are good and some are bad. It's just another one of these thought pieces that I do. And much of the kids in the hall have never been seen on TV before. Very true. Very true. Oh, thank you very much, Rachel. Yeah, the Artcasters one was super fun. So was the I really enjoyed doing the Existential Spy Agency. I wasn't sure about how that would go, but I'm pleased. So yeah, so this one is it's mostly taking a jab at the Prime Minister. So our Prime Minister, at least you can see Trump coming because he's orange. Anyhow. And of course, the whole thing's spoken through the point of view of Buddy there with the Canadian flag hockey shirt, in case of beer at his feet. Just a hoser. Not to be confused with a Hoosier in the States, the American expression of a Hoosier. A hoser is a greatly different thing. A hoser is just a Canadian dorky cliche. That's sort of maybe a descriptive way to say it. So yeah, so that was Creation Flickers, and that was really fun. And the original pages for that was just these two here, and it was I just drew it in black and white line art on a couple of sheets, and then changed elements. Like I dropped this face, and I changed scales on a couple of things, and ended up realizing that I had this universe Corey mixed in with the other universe Corey, so I had to switcheroo that around. And then there's some of those notes about people's the things that people were saying, like Corey suggesting life sucks and then you die, and all these other things to put on the posters up behind Scott, which I did. Which I did each one of those. And there's a behind Josh Kemble in his first panel on page 1 is frog feet, and that's relating to a suggestion made. Anyhow, part 1 of the I called the page alternate dimensional doodah. I don't know why. But page 1 of alternate dimensional doodah is the 100th page that I have done this way with people since January 1st. So, and then part 2 is 101. That's it. That's the fun, So it's page 90, 1 and 2, but we're actually at page 101 now. So, Yeah, page 90 and 91 is actually page 100 and 101. So, Rachel says, not sure about you, but I do my art for me. This is not how she sounds. If the rest of the world or any part thereof enjoys it as well, that is just fine. I don't think she says it that way. But that's the voice I decided to do today. Okay, so before I get ahead of myself, and we're going to get into today's page, I'm trying to catch up on some of the previous suggestions. Rachel, I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings or anything. I'm just being silly. Okay, so we've got a couple of suggestions. Let me turn off the clapping monkey. It's clapping because we hit 101. All right, so we've got some sponsors for today's episode. Sponsor number 1 is Bob's House of Fish. We stay open late for the halibut. Located at 201 Dundas Street, beautiful downtown London. If you want to come on down and reel in a great meal for a good old bite, Bob's House of Fish is the place to go. And our second sponsor is The Fake Explosion. Fake bands, real music. You think you know music? You know nothing. Check out this website. And then we've got a new exciting thing today, everybody. Anybody says something really funny, I'm not going to do the star thing anymore. I'm going to award you with a Polly. Huh? We're going to give it. That's a great sentence, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Paul Page. Hopefully Paul doesn't kick my butt for this. That's a great sentence. And then that way, whenever somebody says something cool, Paul's going to pop up and tell them that. So thanks, Paul. I don't know what goes through my head. I really don't. Sometimes it's just woo. But where's the book? Gotta get the book. Rachel, I'm sorry. Sounds like me, but my voice is lower. Let me try it again. Not sure about you. Is it about that low? But I do my art for me. I'm trying. I'm working on it. Okay. Yeah. Rachel, that's a great sentence. You just earned a Polly. Oh no, I'm gonna have too much fun with this. Okay. I love you, Paul. Okay. So so the Aircaster host meet their alternate dimension selves is done. And so Bela Lugosi singing rock was also suggested. That's where I got the idea for Bela Lugosi in the page. And that's just why Goth Scott was so excited. But I'm still going to do Bela Lugosi's rock thing because that's just too fun an idea. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways. So we've got some more suggestions kicking around here. So I haven't checked that off yet. Now we're targeting here. Like Corey Kerr wants a Jim and Gary top 5 comic. And then Gary wants Corey as the ball in a Rube Goldberg machine. So everybody's just picking on each other. But the one that I've let go the longest. Boop. Where's my Polly? Hey, just for Where's My Polly, you're going to get a Polly. Yeah, if I covered it in a grid pattern, I'd call it a polygraph. Huh? No. Okay. It's spelled with 2 E's. Thank you. Anyways. So the one that so now I'm all caught up. So where I'm at now is the scratch and sniff denominations of currency. And that was suggested by Anonymous. Polanon. I need help. Okay, so scratch and sniff denominations as currency. Let's write it on a post-it. I was looking at this 2 minutes before to do this, and scratch and sniff denominations of currency. Yeah, I just arbitrarily picked this just before we started. That times 2. That guy's lazy. He can't even write the word twice. What a jerk. Anyways, buddy. Here's another form of word. Bunny. Anyhow, it's been a long weekend. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully Paul is not going to mind that he has a celebratory moment in my stream. So, okay. Scratch and sniff denominations of currency. I don't know. Well, let's okay, random picture. That'll do. You'll do. I had a fun ladies and gentlemen, that is a great sentence. I don't know. Yeah. Somebody got a Polly. Yeah, you're on the next level. Or I'm not sure. If I find your statement a little curious, then that's when you get a polygraph. Could just be a statistical average, and that's where that went. That should be in the pile. In the pile. All right. Is there any particular way or any particular approach that maybe somebody wants me to do in putting together this page? Or do we just want to go crazy? Because I'm cool like that. Da, 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 da. There you go, Kat. All right. You got a Polly. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul paid. Now everybody's going to be going out of their way trying to get a Polly. I'm not sure if I'm more alarmed. Hold on, I got to do a voice. I'm not sure if I'm more alarmed at AA smelling $20 bills or hockey pads. There we go. I'm trying different voices. Eventually we'll land on the right one. Now the voices you're doing, Buckaroo. All right. Why don't we can do it in blue, or we can do it in blue. All right, you talked me into it. You want the monkey? Which monkey do you want? Here's my favorite. There's clappy monkey. There's unimpressed monkey. There's work monkey. It's just a monkey at a typewriter going, pressing the button over and over again. That's what I call my making it work monkey. All right. So, I've done a couple things this morning. I got a couple things done and did something for somebody else. And then here we are. Now we're going. So I thought I would, I have pulled up pictures of random goofy people that rocking in rolling concerts. So we'll try this. We'll go with this. I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta have fun, right? Like you just. let's get a little punk rocky today, I guess. So I'm going to make somebody who's portraying a bit of a snark, as it were. $10 smells like poutine and Crown Royal, as we call it, the Canadian breakfast. I'm just joking. It's only in Quebec. So, yeah. So I'm just working green pencil. Sorry, I'm right on top of her. Let me move this. Let me get all these words out of there. Words are tough. So I'm going to approach this. Let me think. The scratch and sniff denominations. So, yeah. Let's say that's how space money works. How's that sound? Space money is scratch and sniff. Oh, how about this? Scratch and sniff for space money, but we do not have the olfactory senses in order to find out what the smells are. It either all smells, repugnant to us, or we can't pick up on any of its smells. So therefore, it's holding us back economically in the galactic center. I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside of the box just a little bit here. And I got to be honest, I like drawing. Okay. Sorry, one of my kids just texted me to tell me they've changed their number again, which is good, I guess. They were going to streamline all their accounts. So maybe that's what they did, and they enhanced new numbers. Okay, so here's our first punk rocky alien. So we'll give it that sort of kind of expression. Jen is busy with family. Good luck, folks. No, just joking. That's nice. I fully understand that. Oh, Elf. Oh my God. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I'll tell you who Elf has nothing on, and that's the Snuffleupagus. And if only more people could see him, if only more people believed in him, he could accomplish anything he wants, all of his hopes and dreams. There you go. There's your googly bits. So today's one-page strip is scratch and sniff denominations of currency. And so my theory is that a space alien money works on smell. So like I said, it's been a long weekend. Snuffy's a great character. Hi, bird. I remember when I was a kid. No, I don't know if I was a kid. I think I was in my teens when I had this conversation. But somebody was looking back on having watched Sesame Street years before, and they said they had a real. They were always wigged out by Snuffleupagus because he was so weird. And I said, yeah, because a giant 7-foot tall bird and a grouch in a can. Those are all normal. That was my whole basis of defense. Like scratch and sniff day at the bank. That's a great sentence. All right. What you miss? You miss the fact that if you say something that makes me pause myself, then you're gonna get awarded a Polly. And so all the ladies are going out of the way to say funny things to get a Polly. No. Okay, so yeah, tonight in London here we have the Comic Jam, and can you collect Pauline points? Is the question. That's a good question. Let's ask the bosses up above. Hey guys, can they collect Pauline points? No, Statler and Waldorf just said offensive things to me, and Pinky and the Brain just went out of the cage, so we're undecided as yet. Hello, Paul. Or Philip, it's Philip. All right, so, yeah. So I'm drawing the first weirdo space alien. And we'll go from there. And sometimes the fun is, and your pencils can be one thing and one layer of it, but then there's those other things that you can do with your color. Like you can, what looks like little spotting, like leopard spotting or something like that in the arm. Once you start getting into the colors for that, it goes a whole different direction. Oh my goodness. Too much fixative spray made Pauline a Pauline. I hope you're using that on paper. All right. So just putting some fun little spotting on the shoulder here, just because again, I think that I always try to take little avenues, little leaps of information when I'm trying to draw something off the norm, right? I don't think I'd ever be really good at drawing superhero comics, largely because I'd want to really differentiate, the characters far more than maybe they initially are. Like Daredevil constantly walking around with a cane like this. Maybe not. I thought it was a suggestion for a female version of the award. You're getting a Pauline. All right, so just putting more of this silly leopard print pattern. Another thing that I've discovered of late is that if you can, as fun as it is to draw this down and then have to ink it, there's a lot to be said for just using textures and patterns and stuff like that. And when it's getting colored in Photoshop, to incorporate those elements really sort of expedites that process to some extent. So, I'm a big fan of that at this point. Like I'm going to put, so I'm drawing this shirt in here, but as I'm looking at it, my thought is to have this be a kind of a meshy sort of a fabric that's sitting over top of the shirt. So just something to, again, sort of push the conventions of the page. So do I put the crazy shoulder? Yeah, let's put the crazy shoulder bit on this side too. Whoops. Pencils are hard to hold on to. So, let's see. Question of the day. What do we got for good question of the day? Anybody? Any great existential dilemmas anyone's going through, or magical questions that maybe somebody in the chat can answer? Chris, what's wrong with you? I don't know, Billy. I don't know. What do we got? Like one of the super mesh muscle tops in orange or hot blue. There you go. There you go. Yeah. I have to get you to send a photo of that to everybody. You know, she's got some. Don't we all? All right. And the list starts. I don't know what's fascinating, your quick, amazing drawing or the imaginative thought processes behind it. Both are wonderful to watch. Well, thank you very much, Shelley. It's a little number you got at Borland's Secret. Bob Ross plus DMT plus Mad Magazine equals Christopher Ludson. Lightning bolt. I think that anytime I see emojis, I read them out loud, which is probably counterintuitive, but poop emoji. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to draw our resident alien here. So I'm going to flare out the line right here. Thank you very much, by the way, Canopies. It's very nice of you to say that. I'm good with compliments. Okay, so something I'm changing up. I've pushed the line out here for the extension of this fabric. And the reason I did that is that where I want to have the arm coming through here, if I have this line come down, it meets it and it just fuses it into the arm. And I want to differentiate those two surfaces. So that's something I'm always trying to suggest, is to make sure the separation of the planes, this arm would be behind this fabric. And so you want to make sure that those things don't crash into each other, because it just makes it confusing for the reader to figure out what's going on. All right, so what kind of money is this? There was a really good stream last night that Jim Lujan had for his hey man, how's your movie going? Talk about his process. So if anybody gets a chance, go check that out. Oh, if Philip is still here, I have a thought. Philip did a stream the other day, and it was like a wonderful resolution of the sort of journey he was going through, of a challenge that he had in his apartment. Not being specific. And he did this video, and I'm still not sure, because it's just this wonderful moment. It's not very long, it's very brief, but it's just Philip looking around in his space, and it's just it's almost like this fantastic performance piece of the resolution of conflict or something like that, if you want to get all heady and existential about it. But it's like, here you are in this journey of this exasperative journey, and at the end of it, you're just sitting there back in your kingdom going, if that was the intention, Philip, or even if it wasn't, I just thought that's how I took it. It was just brilliant. So now, Rachel, speaking to a friend, I mentioned your name. Response. That's just leaving an opening for everybody to fill in that right there for me. Who is Crisco Runtman? I don't think I've ever been called Crisco before. Oh my gosh. I just felt irresponsible enough to tell you. Crisco. That's good. I just watched most of the recording early this morning, Jim. Always fun to see the process. And he had a very special guest on last night. A very special guest. And who was that guest, everybody? Hello, ladies. Okay, I gotta stop. All right. Okay, so here's the alien, and I'm gonna give her The three-fingered hand. So I think that whatever this is that she's squeezing through her hand here, this is the money. Space money. Space money is squishy. Random question of the day. Number 446. What is the best and what is the worst fruit? Fruit. That's yeah. Anybody? That's a good question. Philip says, I remember that. I was going to shoot a video. I was so exhausted I saw my empty background. I kind of lost myself. Yeah, no, it came out, Rachel. It came out like this fantastic. It was just wonderful. It was just said so much. It was like a closure piece or something. All right, so I'm going to run some of the yucky juice of the juicy item that the space woman is holding on to. And we'll just get a little, yeah, it's gross. It's money that, not only would we not understand, maybe we don't want to touch it. So, okay, so there's our first, and this is our character that can therefore introduce to us the conversation starter here. I don't see what the big deal is, Earth people. And we'll kind of bring that panel down just a bit lower, just so I can get into a little tummy. Okay, Jim's response to random question of the day, number 446. What is the best and what is the worst fruit? Best, grapes. Worst, cantaloupe. Gauntlet thrown. Cantaloupe is a silly. Oh my God, Rachel, cantaloupe. Grapes. Oh, we're going to have a fight here. Huh? Here we go. Everybody's throwing down now. Is it cantaloupe? Is it grapes? Depending, okay, we got to establish rules on what's a fruit, because even though tomatoes are technically, there's going to be things that people are going to say. There might not be fruit. It's okay. It's okay. They don't know. They don't know like you know fruit. Nobody knows fruit like you know fruit. But we'll all work on that together. So if somebody does a fruit foul, it's okay. Just let it go. Which is why I'm voting for potatoes and potatoes. I'm just going to leave that hanging out there. I got nothing. Food fight. Okay, so I've got this character drawn in now, and there's your space lady. Let's just make it a little more exotic and give this person plating on their back. We don't have to explain it. It's just a doodle. Uh-oh. Frankly can't stay long. He's going on vacation. Uh-oh. I picture Frankly sipping Mai Tais on a cruise ship with she's got Bermuda shorts on, right? And he's got like a polo shirt and he's wearing one of those straw, what do you call those hats? And he's walking around and he holds his drink like this. Anyone up for a game of shuffleboard? That's what I'm picturing, Frankly. Am I close? Am I close? That's a cool space person. Thank you, Frankly. Frank. That's super cool, by the way, my friend. But lean into the rumor. Start an exotic adventure no one else knows. I spent a lovely weekend in Puerto Vallarta. I went to Hamilton, Ontario to sun on the beach for a while. All the Canadians laugh. Okay, so there's the plating on the alien's back. All right. Okay, so there's our first panel. So this is our alien that's saying, you know, I don't know what your problem is. You could just smell it. You'll know what the denomination is. Oh, yeah. That's a great sentence. There's something wrong with me. All right, so I think I'll draw in some more aliens around. There's a Hamilton, one-way streets to the beach. Go sun by the foundry there. Hamilton is a rather industrial town for those that aren't in the know. Okay, so let's be additionally silly here. Let's draw. Let's put a straw in this person's cab. I don't know. Sometimes it's just about having fun and pursuing things and seeing what it gives you. I'll put a couple of freckles up here on the cheeks. These are freckles gone wrong. But, that orange skin, brown little patchy bits, kind of a cheetah sort of motif. There's your alien, right? The little antennas on the top. Well, I'm back plating and, But you can still take just regular people and then draw them as just silly little adjustments, silly little modifications to them. Kind of like an AI would do. My secret's out. I'm heading this Hamilton in June. I got my snorkel ready. Here's some responses to take note of, frankly. Aliens with freckles are so cute. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Kat, because let's talk for a moment about aliens and freckles. Let's talk about the interstellar war that's developed because of the freckled and the non-freckled aliens, and what that means for all of the alien species that are affected by such hardship. I say the only way that we can respond to them and teach them a lesson that we're not going to put up with this behavior is embargoes. Works for us. Okay, so here we go. Chris is weirding it up again. Trick with giving a person a big pronounced head is that you don't want somebody to go, oh, that looks like an exclamation point. All right, so there's the another alien. There's Slurpee. When can we start giving you some money? You can always give Phil money. You can give everybody money. Rach, I got one for my stay in Chernobyl radiation recovery kit. Philip's going to be posting tonight. Next 24 hours? Okay, next 24 hours, Philip will be posting an update. Okay, good news. That's good news. Okay, so I'm drawing a character in just to populate the background, right? I like the idea of filling in the volume of a space for an image. And then the best part of this, of course, is that the text is going to go, right here over this person's head, or right here in front of this person's stomach. So those are the things that you can ask yourself about. How are you going to go about, filling in the image, and what are you going to be concerned about? Because if you don't have to draw those elements, some people don't draw those elements. I tend to draw the elements because I make all my decisions about where I'm putting text at the end. Like, I draw the entire comic page and come up with ideas about what's going to go on for the story. This is counterintuitive, and people are going to tell me I'm a dummy. But I write the pages at the end. I put the script and the dialogue on. That's last. That's the last thing. And so a way that I try to keep it organic and fluid is through, a sort of streamlined, a sort of ergonomic usage of where I place the text, and I just go for the key points, right, of information for the viewer. So with that in mind, I realize that to some people it's a little counterintuitive, but it's just, that works for me, and you got to find that method that works. So, but I consider these things along the way, like text could go here, text could go here, text could go there. And so if you can do that as you're working, then it sort of liberates you in how you go about placing your images. It liberates you in how you go about, you have an idea for your story, that there's key points of information you need in your story, but there's a visual medium first and foremost. I always look towards the visual story before I look towards the textual story, right? So the textual story is important. I'm not doubting that it isn't, but it's not as important as the visual element. It just isn't. And so if you can catch the interest of the viewers, and at the same time you can give them as much information and detail as you can along the way, you can do one of two things with the story. You can fill in the missing pieces of information that you didn't get laid out visually, but then you can also put the motivation that takes you from panel to panel to panel textually, of ideas being expressed, of continuing conversation, things like that. That's my headspace. Anyways, anybody else has insight into that and how you look at that process, share it with everybody. That's how I managed to do it. I'd put on the parts I can't draw. That's where you put the text, just right over there. Fish. There's a fish under here. That's, it's whatever works for a person, right? Like it's gotta be to your strengths, right? Whatever your strengths might be. If you're able to, so we're going to put, even though this might be covered up with the imagery, or I'm sorry, even though the imagery might be covered up with the text, I'm still going to put this glop dripping down the other alien's arm. I know it's there. It's for me. Uh-oh. Paul Page shared a link. Only 4 likes on this stream so far, 7 viewers. Get them, frankly. Get them. I think the challenge with the streams is that a lot of times, because you're engaged in the stream in a moment, and because the live chat part's taken open on your page, I've been thinking about this a lot, by the way, because I see that with other people that have 100 people there and there's 15 likes. I think it's because when you've got the live chat part open, it covers up the like. Christopher logged in 3 times, frankly. 3 times. I do not deserve one today. All right, so here we are with our second alien, and kind of a little bit punk rocky here, but there we go. So we'll have some fun. This is another thing I figured out recently about color holds. So where this squishy whatnot in the hand is here in the foreground, if I change the line, so where the hand is here and the glop and so on and so forth, if I change the color of the line in this section here from that section here, when I go for coloring, I can diffuse the two different planes from one another by making this lighter back here and a darker outline on the hand there. And so I've been learning how to do them sort of pieces of magic. Now that I figured that out, look out, Montana. Global domination time, and it was starting with you. All right, so there's the other shoulder. Here's the crazy big-headed. And then we're going to do a cool, crazy tattoo pattern here on the forehead. So why? Because that's what they do. And we don't judge. We respect their culture. I'm trying to do something kind of silly, like it's like a Kirby-esque kind of design. Just because, again. So, Frank, have you just logged in to your multiple accounts? I think 9 likes now with 8 viewers. Have you logged into multiple accounts in order to watch the stream and give me likes? Because you have. If you have, Frank, I'm going to get all blushy. And we'll put a band along the top there. You know what? Maybe not, because anything I can do to make it look less recognizably organic. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's the secret. We all take out multiple pages and just go on everybody else's page and just like with the same things over and over and over again. Before you know it, you're one step closer to global domination. Well, that's very nice of you, Frank. I appreciate it. Okay, so we've got some crazy bits and bobs around this character. Some bands on the arm. And there's their outfit. And I've given that sort of, hey, honey, kind of a hand. So Malcolm says, my likes count more. I love it, Captain Courage. That's so. That's still Franklin. Hi, Penny. How are you? Welcome aboard. Okay, so there's our 2 space aliens talking about the weirdo currency, and the reality of how some of it works, and you put in some silly backgrounds behind them, or I can put in like another shape for. I'll just do this. So I'll do the silly. I'll do the Scooby walking behind. And then that'll be silhouette, right? So that pushes this character back to yet another plane. So there's your punk rock mohawk guy. So it's just sort of just filling out the space a little bit by populating it with some people in and around it, right? Right. Okay, so there's the first panel that expresses, I don't know what the big deal is, because our suggestion from Anonymous ×2 is scratch and sniff denominations of currency. And so the supposition is that in outer space, money is different alien space currencies are based on smell. It's all about pheromones. It's all about good old stink. Okay. What do we got here? Frankly says my work here is done. Thank you very much, Frankly. Thinking of setting up a new persona, perhaps Seaway Sludge. Okay, so the next panel, let's draw. How about a guy who's got like a serious burden of some kind on his back? Good old pheromones. The way to meet people naturally. Smell funny. All right, so let's draw a guy. And we'll put him in here. So one of the things that I'm doing, I'll show you something really quick. I'm working on a sci-fi book. And one of the ways that I wanted to put together all of the different space aliens that exist in this future world together is that how do I draw these different sort of outlandish characters? And I find that one of the challenges that faces any sort of science fiction thing is that when you have all these sort of disparate characters and these different people in a scenario together, you can really quickly just have it be informational crash, right? And so I thought if all of the different elaborate creatures and aliens and so forth, if a tying similarity was sort of markings on themselves, so no matter what their form was, that they've all got these sort of markings and different colors like that, and that would be the unifying thing. That's my space theory. The bus has scratch and sniff people sometime. Oh no. Go to Walmart. There's plenty of aliens here. The way you guys make it sound, we can never leave the house. Get on a bus and go to Walmart. Okay, so I'm going to draw a guy here, and I'm going to put him. So we'll give him very prominent fish features, and let's put a big burden of weight on his back. How's that? And he'll be holding a different kind of currency. My dad was an alien until he got his citizenship. Oh, my goodness. I think that we make these terms. This is in the soapbox, by the way. What's under my feet is we do these things these days, and we're doing it more and more and more. And I really, right? The more and more that we differentiate and classify things to separate one person from another, and this isn't saying it's anything against you, Frank, I love you. But the more and more that society does that and says, like illegal aliens or foreigners, like this sort of language that we use, not naturals, what is it? Not indigenous to this place. Those sort of just that language alone is ridiculous to me, because no one's from here. Everybody came here through the great diaspora of people settling all around the world. So just because one group has been here longer than others doesn't mean it's theirs. And so it drives me a little bit nuts. We have a lot of that in Canada here. Oh, memories of mornings on the subway in Toronto. Oh my. That's a great sentence. Yeah, so what I'm basically saying is that the more and more we differentiate, the more and more we divide ourselves, right? The more and more we classify this box and this box and this box, the more and more you take away cohesion for the whole. I don't want the homogenized, we are the world, hand across your face, or I'm sorry, America. I'm just talking about how unnecessary it is. And, it's one of those little frustrating things, especially when you're teaching kids all that jazz. We try to get away from that. That was the whole point of shaking things up in the 80s and 90s, is to get away from all that. That Shamil Shamazel. Anybody? Any? Shamil? Shamazel? I'll do a drawing for whoever fills in the rest of that. Shamil Shamazel. I'll do a drawing for whoever gives me the next line. Not what it's from. I want the next line. That's not it, Frank. And the line you're thinking of, Frank, is different. Yeah. We are the old. We have arthritis. You're getting closer, Frank. You're giving it away to somebody else, buddy. You could have searched it up in that time. Post 7 Incorporated. We've allowed over 2 million the last year. 2 million people from abroad. Is that what you mean? Canada has a population of California and a ton of space, and yet we got a ton of space here. And I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Rachel gets a drawing. Thank you very much, gang. Illegal people into the country. Yeah, Canada doesn't get that, because what do we have? Ocean, ice. You guys, right? I'm amazed more Americans don't just spill over into Canada and just say to hell with this, and then come up, just hop across the board. It's not like people are going to, hey, stop doing that, eh? Hey, where are you going to there, bud? Hey, come on now. What are we going to do? The sheer mass of Michigan could just walk into Ontario. Come on over, Paul P. I think Paul's in Michigan. All right. So I'm going to draw this guy here. Oh yeah, Saskatoon. That definitely you could just drive over into Saskatoon. Hospitals are being overrun. See, we have free healthcare in Canada. We have Canadian healthcare, and Canadian healthcare covers an awful lot of costs and expenses. It's what a big piece of our taxes go to. Probably the same amount that Americans' military budget goes towards. It's just a different ideology, and it only works if everybody pays taxes, right? Well, there's a huge problem coming up in Canada, like it is in a lot of other parts of the world, is that there's not enough kids to take care of the grandparents for healthcare expenses, and there's a huge problem with that coming globally. So honestly, if there's a time for places like Canada and other nations that have the ability to accommodate, to take more people in, now would be the time to do it. And then that way you can perpetuate the existing system. But if that doesn't happen, Canada's not going to have healthcare in 20 years. We're not going to have. We're going to have to go to a system much like the American states, like that. I think we should all send them all to coastal Newfoundland. Yeah, why not? Except for you change the fishing laws and let people actually fish. Because that's the real reason for all the people leaving Newfoundland. And here's a wonderful thing that's really ridiculous in Canada. 1970s and 80s, everybody was leaving Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and coming to Ontario because there were no jobs there. So rather than the development of industry and things like that on the coast, because everything was leaning into fishing, The moment that fishing restrictions started coming into place because of, big monopolizations, right? Everybody, all the young people would leave and come to Ontario where there's opportunities because more diversification of employment. And now, because of the big change where people can work from home and can live wherever the hell they want and do their job, there are tons of people from Ontario going over the coast and buying cheap houses there because housing is so expensive here. They're going over there and buying houses. And so there's this really wackadoo thing going on in Canada where this province is dumping into this one, and a few years later, other people from this province are dumping back into that one. Canada's crazy. I was raised in the military and married the military. Healthcare doesn't mean access. No, you're right. Legal everything is important. I'm not talking about supporting the idea of illegal movement. It'd be nice if we could just do away with borders, let's be honest, but we live in the real world. So it'd be nice if we could just figure out a way to fill in to shore up the breaches. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of America that I don't think a lot of, I'm going to change his head because it's too much like the other person's head. There's a lot of space in America that is not necessarily the most hospitable place to try to live and to raise food and to raise some goods. And then there's a ton of space that's just devoted entirely to herding and cattle and stuff like that. But there is so much open space in Canada that we're just, I don't know what we're doing with it. There's just a real ton of space that is something that can be used for figuring out a lot of the challenges that are starting to plague American cities of no ability to move forward, no upward mobility, no ability to develop yourself because of social stigma. We got to switch it up. Thank you, Malcolm. To some people, that's important. Like our Prime Minister. Seriously. We have Mary Jane Watson. Is she Canadian? Is she Canadian? Seriously? Or are you talking about an actress? You can't fish in Newfoundland. You can, but there's massive restrictions. And because a lot of the fishing in Canada was somewhat subsidized or monitored through the Canadian government, the fisheries, once you started getting into corporate big boat fishing and the dredging, you started losing access to a lot of regional fisheries because they would be dredged farther out by these huge trawler boats that would just eat up all of the fish in their massive nets. And so fishermen, generational fishermen that would go out in their boats and try to bring in their catch to bring to market for the day and to move through the country. They can't do it because these huge trawlers are raking through it. And then because of Quebec and its arrangements, because Quebec has to do everything different, even though it's a Canadian province, they think they're into their own country. They made arrangements with France. So now France is in Canadian waters, dredging up the fish that is Canadian. It's a whole thing. Our latest issue is the infrastructure to support our incoming immigrants. I don't know enough about the American system, but here's how the Canadian system works. We have two parties in Canada, and if anybody here is following and they stand to a certain party, I don't care. Our system has always worked where the Liberal Party comes in and doles out lots and lots of money and makes lots and lots of institutions and organizations and lots and lots of things of this is how we're going to structure everything. And they bring up our debt. And then the progressive conservatives come in and they have scissors and they like to cut up a lot of the things because there's so many redundancies and overlapping things because liberals are willy-nilly. And so it's a check and balance system that Canada has for our politics. It's infuriating. And then there's the New Democratic Party, because we have three parties in Canada, three principles. New Democratic Party is never going to get to the federal office. They're never going to have a prime minister because the New Democratic Party is very tied with unions, very tied with, the proletariat, the people's, very, very socialist. And the challenge that they have is that it's all about we rise up together. And that never works. Historically, it never works. So you're never going to have them rise up together to take the prime minister seat, because it's largely something that's for the prairies, because people are used to working together when resources are spread far and wide. The New Democratic Party, Tommy Douglas, they're responsible for Canadian healthcare across the country. They managed to push that bill through. But aside from that, yeah, you know what I mean? Mary Jane was a real person. I'm trying to catch up. So the infrastructure to support the incoming immigrants is ridiculous in Canada. It's true, because the Liberals, again, here's 15 different programs, but 7 of them do the same thing. So where do you go? Who do you do? Well, we do this part, but we don't do that part. But we do this part, but we don't do that part. So now you're running around just all these different things. It's ridiculous. So how do you come in the country and we settle somebody? Well, you can't, not without a lot of this monkeying around. Yeah, so, I mean, however many people you got coming in, you can overburden the system, especially if the system isn't one that's substantial. Mike, I'm not even going to put that one up. Yeah, so the hospitals get overburdened, and then you get ridiculous bureaucratic nonsense. Cat's given anonymous trouble. There you go. Run for prime minister? No, I don't have good enough hair. I don't have good enough hair, and I'm not enough. There's not enough nepotism in my family. There's nobody that has any connections. I don't have that. So I grew up fatherless, so I don't have anybody that can buy me a seat in the office, because that's what you got to be. You got to have money. It's not about ideas. All right, so I'm giving this guy a funny little vest. And then I'm going to put his arm. So I'm just going to draw this in. What are we at? An hour 17. I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes here, because got a couple things going on in the house we got to take care of today. So I'm putting his arm extended behind him. So I'm thinking about the shoulder muscle here, and the ball of the shoulder, right? And then we got that space inside the inset point here. And then there's this side of your muscle, and then there's that side of your muscle. So we want that to move forward, and I'm going to overly pronounce it here on him. And overly pronounce it there. And then, because when you're extending your arm behind you, and this muscle lengthens now, right? And this muscle balls up. So even though I've got this rather balled up muscle, he's got to be jacked. I'm going to extend this a little bit here. I'm going to place the elbow in. But I'm not going to continue drawing more of the panel. The whole point is to put this heavy weight on top of his back. And so I'm going to put a whole bunch of rock shapes up here. Sorry to get all political, people. I don't know. Start a new party, artist uprising. Good Lord, that's all we need is another party in this country. I knew it triggers me. Yeah, put some seals in Parliament. There you go. There's a thing we had. Honestly, they won a bunch of seats in Canada. The Bindu Plier Party. They were seriously wanted people to go into Parliament and just meditate, and a bunch of them got elected. That party was being run by Doug Henning, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember Doug Henning, but Doug Henning was a magician in the 70s and 80s. You know, he'd always go magic, and he had this big mustache. All of his magic routines were sold to Penn and Teller, and those are the things that they show in there. That's their whole basis of their magic act. Doug Henning's magic. I thought it was this roll of fat and that roll of hey, come on now. That's fine if you like political discussion on your channel. I don't mind it at all. I really don't. All right, frankly, have a great week, buddy. Frank's father was a baby seal. Yeah, I don't mind anybody having political discourse at all. Ideas are important that we share. The whole sequestering of ideas, this is the thing I was saying, the whole declassifying of things, of ideas, and making it just open conversation, and nobody gets to be upset and overly sensitive about ideas. We're not talking about negative impact things where, well, I think you got to do all this to those types of people, and that's not great ideas. If I have 100 people arguing, I'll shut it down. That's where Dad kicks in, right? That's the whole, that just puts an end to it. Excuse me. Chris exploded. I want scientists. I didn't explode at this. Malcolm says I want scientists in Parliament. Yeah. Except for datum sets don't just prove the result, right? That they do so, but if the result is talking about humanity, talking about people, talking about nature, talking about living things, sometimes you need to curb those scientists with some humanists. Rachel wants pigments and oopix. All right, so I'm putting big rocks on top of this guy's back, and he's going to talk about the price of things falling. Everything is inherently political because we all have different viewpoints. The thing that changes it from being a political thing and turns it into just a conversational thing is the fact that, people that can think outside of a box can look at things as that's a perspective, that's a viewpoint. And I appreciate that they have it. I'm going to wholly disagree. And never will the two of us meet. But it's the point where you realize that I can't change. If the other person's opinion is formed from their opinion, from however they put it together, right or wrong, it's their thing. And my thing is formed together from my experiences and my education and my whatever, whether it's spirituality, whether it's common sense, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But the peccadillos that all make up this person and the peccadillos that all make up that person, they might not ever agree. Right? That's discourse. You're going to have two different ideas and two different viewpoints and debate opposite ideas, and at the same time you can do so without doing, pulling out of that thing the other person. But yeah. But let's get to the question of the day. Let's get a perspective. I seriously have a frog in my throat. I'm gonna wrap up saying. Okay. Question of the day is boxers or briefs? Rachel says yeah, so as soon as something gets large enough that it's no longer familial, it's no longer familiar people, then you can't do it. You're right. You're completely right, Dee. You just can't. Like, your thing would be too big to do it. Right, Mar? This is just a half a dozen cool cats. Cool cats and kittens? I don't know if you even need that specificity, but like Cat says, yeah, I gotta explain that to Paul. That's what I have a page that I did called Jelly Beans. And Jelly Beans is just two different groups completely screaming at each other. And isn't that a discussion for the OF? I don't know what OF is. I am lousy at anagrams. And I apologize to people that use anagrams. I have no idea what they're talking about. Rachel's just nominating everybody for every office on earth. And she wants me to be prime minister. Now she wants Paul to be the president of the United States. Can you imagine if we were in charge? That'd be a great conversation. Paul would say, hey, so yeah, can you give us some of your fish? And I'd say, well, how many you want, though, you know? And the world would be happiness. We'd make art days be made a legal thing. Isn't that a discussion for fans only? Fans only is an echo chamber. Fans only. Oh, I think you mean that other thing. Oh, no. I don't know. I thought you meant people that are just fans or close ties. I think you're talking about another thing. Yeah, no, that's an echo chamber. Anytime that you get a nice lady group, Twitter's an echo chamber. Twitter has always been an echo chamber, and it used to not be. I'm sorry, but in the early days, is what Instagram is, and people are professing the same thing about Instagram. It's no longer about artists doing artist things. It's now about whatever. I see, and that's what I mean. Again, sorry, Philip, I don't get anagram jokes. That's just because I'm ding dong. It's old folks. Old folks are the worst. They really are. There's two things I can't stand. People, basing each other on age, also on old people. It's a dumb joke. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to finish this cat off, and then I think I'll sign out for today. Yeah, I don't talk politics much. The Canadian system's kind of a messed up thing. It's probably not much different than how the Americans are feeling. Pardon me. Disconnected about stuff as in their own way too, but there's real things that we have to readdress and change up a little bit, because kids can't afford to invest in the things that we sort of make them think that they have to invest in, like houses and all of those stuff, because it's getting so economically unviable to do so. How do we shake that up? I know. Let's conquer something. Greenland, they're asking for it. I best stay away from politics. I'll get everyone mad at me. I'm already mad about that. And why in the world does this girl not cut her hair? And what this one here? Ridiculousness. Look at these tattoos. I don't know. I think that everybody has feelings. Everybody has thoughts. Nothing wrong with it, unless your thoughts are hurtful. Don't review a book if you're going to do a negative review. There's just no need for that. Nobody needs. They made the book. You didn't. It's not your moment. If you don't have anything nice to say, just leave it alone. Or, that's why I don't understand critics. Like it or don't, leave it alone. And, when it comes to your thoughts and your opinions, and my thoughts and my opinions, if I'm wrong, go, Christopher. Change the topic, you goofball. And in that way, we all stay friends. Also, the polar bear situation in this country, they know. Huh? We're on to them. Let's go annex the island of Goa. I think we can all be honest about this. We're all banking on the guys at Oak Island. Everybody in Canada is. Like, if that works out, that's going to be great for all of Canada, eh? That'll be good. There's just they're really nice guys, too. They go on Dee Dee's thing and, hey, here's $5. And that's super cool and supportive. But when they find that big pile of cash in there, I hope they throw it back into the country, because, Why isn't Doug Henning our prime minister? Huh? Magic. I'd vote for that guy. Well, the history of it's incredibly cool. That's very cool stuff. If you've never looked into Oak Island, look into it. It's cool. It's cool stuff. And, there's all kinds of little things like that. But Oak Island's one of the more interesting ones because they still haven't figured it out. Some people think they figured it out. But the guys at Oak Island are really giving it a go. So, all right. So I'm going to do the scratch and sniff denomination and currency page. Get that posted for tomorrow. And, in the meantime, I'm going to go try to figure out where Doug Henning is and see if he'll run for Prime Minister of Canada. If you've got a retired guy, hey, what about the guy with the watermelons? Go see if you can find him to be president of the United States. Elon Musk really leaves us half his money. Maybe we'll have currency equal to the U.S. He's not going to do that. He's taking it with him to Mars. That's where you get more chocolate bars. And on that note, yeah, I'll get this finished up tomorrow. If anybody has any one-page ideas, let me know. I love them. This is working on page 102 at this point now. I'm going to stop counting because it gets boring. But it's really fun, the engagement of that. It's just as fun as like the Didi has 3 prompts on her YouTube channel, so please go check that out. But yeah, there's all kinds of things. I got to get myself ready tonight for London Comic Jam, where we're going to go do comic pages together. And this is the start of the London Comic Show that happens at the same gallery. So we're excited. There's some guests that are coming in, and there's a couple I want to meet. Yeah. In the meantime, I hope everybody has a fun day. Go find the watermelon guy for the future president, and I'll try to go find Doug Henning. We'll see what we can get. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I hope you've had a good day, and I'll be back at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And on this note, I'm just going to leave that up. Bye for now. Go get creating. I want to see what it is. Really, please share it. Everybody wants to see what you're working on. Bye for now.